Hey everyone. Sorry for being a little bit late, just got here. Let me open up the comments section. Can everyone hear me just fine? Okay, let's see what we got. Okay, cool. I think y'all can hear me. Okay, let's see what we got. So, 098 saw. One question I get stuck over how to troubleshoot problems. I've done online courses and I have no idea how to Google for the answer. Do you have any tips? So, 098 saw, could you give me a specific example? Hey, when I'm expecting a print statement and the script just outputs a runtime, what am I meant to Google? Could you give me like an example of code? The question's really broad and it's difficult to understand what you're asking. Awesome, awesome. We got a lot of people coming in. Cool. All right. Hello, brother. Data analyst basic skill learn. Learn a BI tool like Tableau or Power BI. Learn a programming language like Python or R. And learn, what was the third thing? And learn SQL. If you learn those three things, that'll give you a great start in data analytics. And you should be able to get a job with those skills. Hello, I enjoyed your day in the life video. Well, thank you so much, RCSX. So for anyone just joining, hi, my name is Shashank. I'm a data analyst working in the United States of America. I work for Nordstrom, a major North American fashion retailer. We work on the high end of malls and stuff like that and sell to higher end customers. And this is a live stream I do once a week, Thursday morning my time, to cater to the Asian and European audiences. And then I also do a live stream Friday evenings, which cater to my North American audiences. So thank you guys so much for joining. I make videos on data analytics, and before we actually get too deep into it, I want to make people aware of the resources I have available on my channel, and I'll find a better way to organize them for you guys one day. But a couple of questions I always get are, what are the skills I need to be a data analyst? And I think a BI tool, a business intelligence tool, is very useful. So something like Tableau or Power BI, knowing Python or R is very useful, and knowing SQL is very useful. And I have a course for Tableau over here. I have a course for Python over here, and I have a course for SQL over here. So all three of those, I have free courses on my YouTube channel that you can go check out if you're interested in learning how to become a data analyst. These are just some core skills that you need to know. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so Ben Nyakunde, nice to see you again. Hishang, learned all the skills and I'm applying for internships. Wondering what's your advice for interviews. Oh, hey, of course, welcome. Interviews for winter and summer internships. I would say if you have any prior internship experience, then 100% really dig into that in your interview. If you have any projects, even if they don't ask for it, ask if you can like show them something you've built. And I think that's a tremendous way to show people that you actually like have practiced what you're trying to do before you got to the interview. Hey, Fighter Jet, good morning. So yeah, I hope you're having a great day. So yeah, Ben Nyakunde, I think some of the best advice you can have is to whip out a project if you're able to in an interview. All right. Rajesh Kumar. Hey, welcome, Rajesh Kumar. Does data analyst, business intelligence engineer, business analyst fall in the same category? Yeah. So you have like data analytics. You have like analytics, and like in analytics, like all of these like roles fall into that. And Jomatech actually has a video I watched the other day called "What Really Is Data Science Told by a Data Scientist." This is actually a really good video for giving you a high-level view as to all like many of the different roles that you'll see inside analytics and data science. Okay. I guess it's a more general question about knowing what to Google, knowing how to Google what I don't know. Oh, hey, what's up, Gabriel H? All right, so knowing what to Google. So for me, honestly, I whenever I get an error, I usually just like copy and paste the error straight into Google, and I'll be able to get something close to what I'm looking for on Stack Overflow. So How to Google? That's a tough one. Yeah, usually I'm just like Googling the error itself. Otherwise, what I think you should do is that you should go to the Python documentation and start learning the terminology for all the different aspects of Python so you can start piecing together the question yourself. Stefan Campbell. Tableau is a game changer for going from good at Excel to being a data analyst, in my opinion. 100%. So Stefan is right over here. This is exactly how I started becoming a data analyst. It's why my first course is a Tableau course. And I created it like, I think March of last year. Tableau course is my first course because that's how I started analytics. It made it really easy to get into the space. All right. Uh, Yeah, so 098 saw if you forgot to put a comma somewhere or you put in the function incorrectly, I found that you usually can't Google that and you kind of just have to stare at it until it like pops out at you. It's one of the more frustrating parts about programming, but as you become more experienced, you will be better at spotting those errors and avoiding them. Hey, Ashwin Seti, nice to meet you, and I hope you're having a great day too. Thank you. Let's see. So meet Nagadia. Any tips for ML engineer freshers? That's a tough one. So I'm not actually an ML engineer, and I'm just learning machine learning myself. If you're a fresher of any kind, for anyone that doesn't know, fresher is the Indian word for an entry level person. Um, then I recommend you when you start your job, go ahead and set up as many meetings as you can with different people in the company, preferably people close to what you're doing, but then like outside of that too, and then ask them what are the biggest pain points in their job, and just write that down. When you write that stuff down, that gives you a lot of stuff to work on from day one in case they don't give you enough work to begin with, and that's a great tip for anyone starting off any job. Can we use laptop while charging? So Aditya, I'm not exactly sure what the question is. Hello, Aditya Tyagi. And should I connect to charger when connecting to new monitor? I'm not exactly sure what this question's about. I guess it depends on your hardware. Okay, so this person's username is interesting. I can't actually read it. Okay, so I can read it on my phone, but not on my computer. How do you self-study learn for more than 30 minutes per day? I struggle putting in a lot of hours, but I want to eventually study for 2 hours per day. So I think the trick to it is to dedicate 30 minutes, just study. Don't do anything else. Focus on your studying, and that's all you do. And then at that 30 minutes, you find a nice stopping point, you stop, and then you go do something for 10 to 20 minutes. Go do something else, anything, like 10 to 20 minutes, and then come back and study for another 30 minutes. And then what you do is, as you get better at that, shorten that break from 20 minutes to just 5 minutes eventually. But give yourself a break and tell yourself that it's okay. It's better to take a break now and do those good 30 minutes of studying than it is to just quit. So I think breaks are key in studying, and it's people think that if you just like sit in front of a computer all day, then you'll eventually get the content in. Well, that's definitely one way of going about it. I think that like sitting and actually, or like stopping and taking a break is just as important as actually studying itself. Hey, Alexi fan, great to see you again. I haven't seen you in a while. I am doing really well. I'm doing really well. When you started hey, what's up, Marshall Turner? Great to see you again. So Marshall's actually great at regularly answering questions on these videos whenever they are too fast for me to answer. All right, so Alexi fan, subscribed for a couple months. Yes, you have. I'd like to know how and when you got started for data analyst career, and where did you learn it from? So I got started at Interstate Batteries, which is a North American battery distributor. I got hired on to the supply chain team, and luckily they were just standing up an analytics implementation. I just happened to start one there. So people don't. Oh, hey, what's up from Arkansas? I'm in Denver right now, but I'm actually from Dallas, Texas. I love the barbecue in Arkansas. It is so good. Like Texas, we have the best brisket, but y'all's ribs are something else. And also about answering questions, I typically go in order, but occasionally I'll switch to answer questions, especially from people that show up regularly to my live streams. I want to reward people who are like, showing up here and like really contributing all the time. So I will get to as many questions as possible, and asking me to answer your question again doesn't really get me to answer questions any faster. Doing well, S. Nidhan, doing well. Okay, so yeah, Alexi fan to Yeah, to answer your question, yeah, so I started, yeah, so I got a job in the supply chain department, and then it just happened to be with we just happened to be starting up an analytics implementation. And the way I got started was my boss luckily knew about Alteryx and Tableau, and Alteryx is kind of a replacement for R and Python. They don't like you calling it that, but that's basically what it is, at least in my understanding. And the features they keep adding to it seem to be like features that want to just replace R and Python. Nothing wrong with that. That still makes it a great product. But that's how I was able to. So basically, Alteryx. Let me show you. I was actually going to make a video on it as a tutorial after my Tableau one. But then I found out that it's just difficult to find companies that use Alteryx, honestly. Like when I was job searching earlier, I couldn't find any companies that use Alteryx. So as you can see, like you import your data over here, and then you can like do all these pre-processing steps, modeling steps, stuff like that. And this is like basically, as you can see, like the steps of Python, but it's done in a GUI fashion. So I got started off with Alteryx and Tableau, and that's how I got started in data analytics. And I kind of like just picked it up from there. Everything is self-taught. I took Udemy courses, watched YouTube videos, and just messed around with it. So, and then obviously tons of support from my boss. Like at the end of the day, he was very patient with me learning how this stuff worked. Hey, Adrian KR, awesome job on getting a job offer at a FANG company in Barcelona. Awesome. Hey, you know what? Congratulations. Everyone give Adrian KR claps over here. It is amazing to hear that people get jobs, and that is the best news I can get from anyone. That they, I don't know whether it was from watching the video or not, but that presumably, or that either way, that they got a job with all the effort that they're putting in. So as you see from Adrian KR over here, if you put in the work and you apply, and remember, make sure you apply. I think no one ever talks about how much they apply. So if you do if you do all the work on the YouTube channel and you apply a lot, then you'll get a job. And before I go back to the question over here by Prain Ashish, I want to make sure that everyone understands, because it's not something that's talked about enough. At the end of the day, the only way to get a job is to apply. It sounds really silly, but I think it's really easy for people like us to get caught up in like the studying aspect of it, and to be like, oh wait, when I learn this, then I'll apply, or like I need to know all of this, and like what are all the things I need to know before I apply. But just know that like I don't want to say most, but many people, myself included, enter most of our jobs not knowing all the skills we need, and then just study like hell to learn them as we need them. So, and I want you guys to know that's exactly how I get into my jobs too. Like, part of the reason I'm able to move up at the speed that I do is that I will like go for jobs where I don't have all the skills I need, more or less convince them I have the skills, and then learn the skills like really quickly at the beginning of the job. And you know, I mean, and it works out pretty well. And I think at the end of the day, that's how a lot of people operate. Most people I know like learn the skills they have at their job on the job. All right, so Prentice, okay, 2 years of experience as a business analyst in one of the MAF company. What's an MAF company? And I lost my job due to COVID. I'm really sorry, Prain. That sucks. I want to prepare for interview now. How can my skill set is Power BI, SQL, Tableau, I'm guessing, and Excel. Okay, that's a pretty solid skill set. Excuse me. I would suggest making a great Tableau dashboard on the side, like as a side project. So find some interesting data, make a Tableau project. I mean, make a Tableau dashboard on it, and then in the interview, show them that you did that. If you can infuse some SQL in there, that's even better. SQL is a little bit difficult to do in project form because it's very much like, oh, I have a database to access and I like got the data off of that. So like SQL is going to be a little bit harder, but definitely Tableau and Power BI, you can make a dashboard in one of those things, or even both of those things. Once you make it in one, it's easy to make it in another one. Then inside the interview, say, sir, I have a project I have a project that I feel like really demonstrates my skills. Can I show it to you? And then like, if you are in person, make sure you bring your laptop with you. And you would be surprised at how, like, no one does this. Everyone just comes in and is like, oh, please give me the job. No, you're different. You bring in your laptop and you show them the project. So I think that's, there's a lot of advice for interviews. I think this is kind of like, if I was to like boil it down to like, what's one banger piece of advice, that would be it. Also, does anyone know what a MAF company is? I'm guessing it has something to do with something in India. I know what FANG is. I'm not sure what MAF is. Do I need to know data structure and understand algorithms to work in analytics? No, you do not. You do not have to know any of that stuff to work in analytics, but as you get more advanced, you'll probably have to learn it eventually, but you don't have to know it initially. 103 Thorat Preetham. Hey Shashank, hello, hello. Planning on pursuing my master's in MIS. Your videos have been really helpful. Please don't stop. Have a great day, Ed. Hey, well, thank you so much. It's great to just hear congratulations sometimes, so thank you so much, man. Ashwin Sethi. Okay, so this is a great question. Is your video sufficient for Power BI and SQL? Okay, so great question, Ashwin, and let me tell you what let me tell you the goal behind the videos I make, or the courses I make specifically. So like you'll see this Tableau course, this Python course, and the SQL course. Oh, whoops. The goal behind them is not to teach you everything you need to know in order to become a data analyst. That's not at all what I'm trying to do. The goal behind them is to get you to a point where you can start learning on your own. And let me tell you a small story. So when I started Python, right, I'd been trying to learn Python for like 2 years before I actually like started to learn it. And what happened was I would like I would like try and do something in Python and I wouldn't be able to do it and I'd get very frustrated and I would quit. And so what I learned eventually was that, and I tried to do a Kaggle competition. I couldn't do anything in Python. And I learned that like I couldn't like Google anything because I didn't know Python. And then so what I found out was that like taking a step back and then taking a Kaggle course on Python and SQL, Kaggle has excellent courses on all this stuff, where they cut out all of the fat, they cut out all of the BS, got me to a level of skill where I was actually able to start answering my own or asking my own questions more easily, and where I was able to actually start building up my own knowledge. So if you think about it, kind of like building a house with bricks, right? What I tried to do in these courses, I try to build out a very basic foundation that allows you to know what you don't know and know what to look for next. So these courses aren't enough. Like once you get into your job, you'll need to know a lot more. I think these courses have enough information for you to get a job at the entry level, but these courses are really meant to just kind of be a primer. I think my Python course is quite thorough, though. My Python course is fairly thorough, though. But I would definitely say the SQL and the Tableau course, yeah, it's something you want to like learn. You want to like keep researching. Salim Sadman, why don't you make project video anymore? Your videos are amazing to learn. Well, thank you so much, Sadman. So a lot of that just has to do with I have a couple of other projects to do. These hands-on machine learning videos are very important to me because I learn while I'm doing them. But you are right. I actually do have a project video that is in the works right now, and I will be coming out with it as soon as I can. And I do apologize. Like I have kind of been slacking on the project videos, but I will get back to that. Any recommendations for machine learning material for a beginner? My hands-on machine learning, scikit-learn, Keras, and TensorFlow course. Get this book over here, and then go ahead and do a watch the videos on it as you're reading it. I think that's a great resource. And also Kaggle.com, go to courses, and they have deep learning courses, geospatial analysis, machine learning explainability. They have all these courses over here that you can check out, and these are all awesome. Kaggle has amazing courses. Oh wow, quite a few questions over here. Thank you so much. Who's this from? Mackenzie Chen, thank you. NT, New Taiwan dollars, right? So are you from? I'm only guessing because your last name is Chen, but let me see. NT, Kerr, NC. Yeah, New Taiwan dollar. Cool. Well, welcome, Mackenzie, from presumably Taiwan. Great to hear from you. As a complete side note, complete diversion over here, and I want to be able to praise these creators when I can. There's this great Asianometry. There is this great YouTuber called Asianometry who I like watching. I think he's a Taiwanese American, but he actually just like does really cool videos on specifically East Asia and how like different things in East Asia work. So for example, like Hong Kong, so countries like Hong Kong, he hasn't done much on Korea really, Japan, China, and he tells you about like how like companies there work, how the government works, and they're really interesting. It's very, very fascinating, especially living in the U.S. We don't get much information on that. All right, so let me answer your question over here. So great streaming, thank you. I have basic skills such as SQL, R, Python, ML, and Tableau at an intermediate level. What other skills should I learn? Data analyst. Is there more to this question? Just want to make sure I'm not missing anything because there's a parentheses over here, but it's not completed. Okay. And just as a heads up, so Mackenzie, great question. Anyone who gives a, what do you call it, a super chat, that's what these are called super chats. I will, I answered those questions immediately. And thank you so much for the support. Okay, so you have those basic skills, SQL, R, Python, ML, and Tableau at an intermediate level. What other skills should I learn? Okay, so Mackenzie, could you give me a little bit more information as to like what exactly you're doing right now? As in like, do you already have a job or are you in college? And I'll keep checking the bottom of the chat to make sure I answer your question. Only because I need a little bit more information in order to answer your question well. Because, for example, if you are still in college and you're looking for an entry-level job and you have a bachelor's degree, then I would say that's more than enough to start applying at that point. But if you're going for like a more advanced role, like maybe a data scientist role or something, then I might have different advice. Okay, let me keep answering these questions. So, Mackenzie, go ahead and give me a little bit more information on your situation right now, and I will answer your question. Where was I? Let me look up an Excel course. I actually can't suggest any Excel courses. I don't use Excel that much. I use it every single day, but not at an advanced level, so I've never taken a course in it. And I would definitely say that there probably is one on YouTube that you can use. There's a free course for almost anything on YouTube except for like, I haven't seen many on Alteryx, to be honest. Answer that question. What do you recommend a junior and how to build a portfolio? You can build a portfolio. I recommend building a portfolio, and you can build one on Tableau Public and GitHub. And the way I recommend building it is to go ahead and just like look for a portfolio structure from someone else on what do you call it, on GitHub. You can just go ahead and pull that repo. And as far as like how to actually build it, like what projects do and stuff, the advice I always give is to pull find what you're interested in. For me, it's cars, and pull a data set from a government website related to what you're interested in. So for example, like if I want to do my own project on like cars, right, I go to the NHTSA.com, which is the North American, I think it's like North American National Highway Transportation Safety Administration. It's the United States' like highway traffic authority, or like vehicle safety authority. And basically I can go ahead and get like crash data over here, right? Again, I'm interested in cars, and I can just go ahead and pull data from here and then start visualizing it, and then start asking yourself questions. And then as you ask yourself questions like, okay, for example, what car manufacturer has the safest car? Why do they have the safest car? And then you ask yourself more and more questions, you'll start to automatically create a project out of that. So that's how I would answer your question. It's your boy Dodo Bird. Hey Shashank, is web scraping needed for data analyst? I would say it's not needed. I have only ever used web scraping in a corporate context once. I'm not saying corporate people don't use web scraping. I just don't know if it's, in my experience, corporations usually just buy their data, but it's still a cool skill to have. I know how to web scrape. It's a super cool skill, and it's really useful for like personal stuff. So like I'll have like friends that need stuff done, and I can like do web scraping, and web scraping is like a very useful task for them. Which libraries are best for these kinds of tasks? Beautiful Soup, Selenium, and Requests. Those are the 3 libraries you need. And if you're looking for a video on actually how to web scrape, I have a video of your web scraping Instagram comments where I actually like a live code a web scraper that scrapes Instagram comments. So Mackenzie Chen, okay, I'm in college and I'll apply for MSBA next year. Hey, thank you so much, Carrie. Oh, and also, sorry, I completely forgot to ask, as you come in, if you're comfortable, just let me know where you're from. I love seeing the internationalness of these streams, and this stream specifically was created for people in Asia and Europe. Obviously, everyone's invited, but right now is like the middle of the workday for a lot of people in North America. So I'm creating this stream for a lot of the people in Asia and Europe. That way they can join, because my Friday evening streams are usually difficult for people in Europe and Asia to join. Okay, so Mackenzie Chen, I'm in college and I'll apply for Master's in Business Administration in the U.S. next year. Interesting. Okay, so if you're going to be doing an MSBA, then presumably you're not going to go into analytics soon. I think my advice for you, you have such great skills. I wouldn't focus on don't learn any other skills. I'd say keep working on what you already have over here. So for example, like do you actually know R and Python at an equivalent level? If you don't, then definitely learn them to an equivalent level since, you're in college, you have the time. Um, Machine learning, you can never stop learning it. There's so much stuff to learn over there. I would say statistics, build up a strong base in statistics if you can. Otherwise, you have more than enough skills to get a job, and I would say focus on strengthening these skills. And let me tell you why. A lot of data analyst and data scientist jobs will say that they want someone who knows all of this stuff. I interview for data analyst candidates right now, and I can tell you for a fact, we don't actually expect someone to know all this stuff because very few people actually do. And so it's better to actually be very good at a couple of these things and really like hammer in those skills. So I think you have more than enough skills. Maybe add some statistics into it, especially since you're getting a master's. I would expect a master's level student to have some like good statistical skills. Um, and go ahead and like focus on strengthening these skills over here. I hope that's helpful. So Mackenzie, let me know if that's helpful. Hey, Jeffrey, girl from Singapore. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. Let's see. Just saw your first video a few minutes ago and realized you were live. My question is, as I don't know you, what experience do you have? By the way, Czech Republic over here. Cool. Czech Republic's really cool. So obviously we live in the U.S., right? And there's this, so I live in Texas, and so every once in a while I go to like the firing range, and one of my favorite weapons to use over there is the CZ75. It's a Czech firearm that's just like this like very high quality firearm. So cool country. Welcome, Eric. Great to see you again. So quickly, just to answer your question, uh, what is your question? What experience do I have? So I have 3 to 4 years of experience, depending on how you count it, and depending on who asks. I have 3 to 4 years of experience in analytics, and I know Python, Tableau, to an extent R. I have some basic knowledge of statistics and machine learning. And then SQL, of course, and Power BI, and Google Data Studio, and like just basic big data management. So I would say that's my experience. Currently, I work in Nordstrom, which is a North American fashion retailer, where I work in strategic analytics. So I hope that answered your question. Okay, perfect. I'm glad I answered your question, Mackenzie. Manufactured a few kilometers from me. Cool. Awesome stuff. All right, so back to the questions. Let me... Wow, we have a lot of questions over here. Yep. When I say for Asian audiences, it's like it's like for 90% India and then like 10% like all over everywhere everyone else in Asia. Um, okay, so let me go back to answering the questions. Congo, awesome. Where was I? Um, oh wow. Yeah, we're never gonna get through all these questions. If you want me to answer your questions really urgently, then feel free to like send me a super chat and I answer those questions immediately, as you saw with Mackenzie's over there. Okay, so I answered that question. I answered that question. I answered that question. Okay, civil engineer toying with a career change. What has me concerned is math, not my strong point. Differential equations was DiffyQ was the last math course I took. Is the math difficult? I think at the lower levels, no. But with the thing was, so with analytics overall, you don't actually need math. The thing is, as you get into the more deeply data science roles, you'll need to eventually understand math. But I would even say like at the less advanced levels of data science, you don't have to know that much math. It's like probabilities and statistics are the most important thing. And at least in the United States, you can make a solid $150,000 to $170,000, maybe even $200,000, not having a like really deep mathematical background in data science. So I would say that while the math is probably important to know, I think that's only if you want to get really deep into the machine learning algorithms and like really know how they work. So yes, congratulations, Adrian, for getting the job. Thank you so much, Flobal. Thank you. Check out my other videos too. So Ty Nanayakara, do you have any knowledge or experience in other fields to supplement your career in data analysis? economics, marketing, etc. Ah, okay, okay. Oh, do you have? So, are you asking, do I have to have knowledge? So, what I did is I took a course in supply chain management before I got my first job, and that's what got me into the supply chain department. So, that's very much one way of having it. And the thing is, when you want to get into analytics, I believe in this graph over here. I'm sure everyone's seen it before. Oh, not that one. Yeah, this is kind of what it is. People keep changing it, but I think the original one was awesome, honestly. Yeah, so you'll have remove multivariate statistics and just say mathematics over here. So you have mathematics. Okay. There's mathematics. Hacking just means computer skills, and domain expertise means stuff like, like you were saying, econ and stuff like that. I think as long as you have two of these skills, you can get started and then build up the third skill. So, for example, this is where I started, and I'm building up domain expertise as I go from industry to industry. And the good thing is, a lot of industries are simple enough to where like you don't need deep domain expertise, at least within like the first 5 years of experience. So I would say domain expertise is useful, but definitely not necessary. Can you make a tutorial video on Alteryx? Quite a few financial companies use Alteryx for analysis in Canada. Interesting. Okay, okay, that's a good point. In that case, I will put it on the docket. Is there more opportunity in data or software development? Software development for sure. There are more. There are going to. The world needs more software engineers than they need data people for sure. That being said, software development, be careful about getting into the easier parts of it, because everyone knows software development pays a lot of money right now, so people are flooding the industry. So if you're getting into software development, work very, very hard to move up fast enough. That way you don't get flooded with all the people at the bottom. So you'll see what happens in a lot of industries is like people eventually realize that like some industries require relatively little work for very high pay, and software development is like that too. I'm not saying it's easy, but the amount of hours you put in versus, for example, say like investment bankers or like doctors and nurses and stuff like that, relative to the pay, is definitely less. And that's a good thing. Like work-life balance is a good thing. But everyone knows that software development is like a really good bang for your buck career, and they know that about data as well. And so people are flooding the bottom end of the market. And so what happens is you want to claw your way up at least to a mid-level as fast as you can. That way you don't get flooded out by these people over here who will knock down the salaries as fast as possible. So, because at the end of the day, it's all just supply and demand. Toronto, Canada, awesome. Okay. Scotland, nice, nice. Macedonia, wow. Where is Macedonia? Where on the map is Macedonia? Okay, so it's near Greece, looks like. Oh, it's called North Macedonia. Interesting. I thought it was just called Macedonia. Cool. Looks like it'd be beautiful over there. Nice. I want to go now. So for anyone that doesn't know, I'm a really big traveler. I travel to at least two new countries every single year. Um, of course, this year I haven't really been able to, so. But luckily, right before the pandemic started, I was able to go to Hungary and Romania. Very cool countries. Brazil, cool. Good resources to learn Python. I definitely recommend my Python course over here. So let me give you guys a link to that. So copy. There we go. Yeah, I'm glad you agree. I'm guessing you're talking about my whole thing about like you want to like claw your way up to a certain level before the bottom kind of falls out of a career. Uh, Greetings from Venezuela. Nice, nice. Okay, so let me go back and start answering the questions up here. Where are we? Okay. Your tutorial on Python is extremely helpful. Thank you for recommending that to me. Guys, if you want to learn Python, you can find a tutorial on his channels. He also has some other... Yes, Alexa, you're 100% right. Uh, Udemy Google Analytics course. So I never took a Udemy Google Analytics course at Aditya, so I'm not sure what you're mentioning specifically. The Udemy course I took was on Tableau, but honestly, I believe that my free one is all you need. So I honestly won't even... Or I guess there's no harm in recommending it, but like... It's from Super Data Science, I believe. Yes, this is the one. These guys are awesome. They keep updating their courses. So like this is different than what I saw, but like that's good. That just means they keep updating it. I don't know if this is the exact one, but it's from these guys. So look at like these guys' courses. There we go. Bavaria, very, very cool. Great stuff. I'm looking at getting a BMW sometime in the future, so or a Toyota Supra, which has a BMW engine in it. So have a little Bavarian blood in my garage. Let's see. Oh, another one from Macedonia. Cool. We have a lot of Macedonians here. Country with thousands of languages, thousands of religions, billions of engineers. Yeah. Armon, where did you say you were from? Oh, cool, cool. Okay. So let me. Okay, so let me go back to answering the questions. He is not an Indian. Yes, I am not. I was not born in India. My parents are Indian. I was born in the U.S., but I do have overseas citizenship. Like I'm an OCI. My understanding is that means I have all the rights of an Indian person, except I can't vote, and I can't hold agricultural land. So yeah, I think that's what an OCI is. But obviously, if anyone knows better, feel free to correct me. Okay, back to questions. Hey there. Okay, so Mahinder. Hey there. I want to become a data analyst. So I am good at MySQL. Great. MySQL is a tremendous database used everywhere, and Python libraries, and learning Tableau. So I can. So can you please suggest to me when I can get ready for internship and data analyst jobs as a fresher? Well, when? I mean, right now. Start applying right now. Like, you go off the live stream and just start applying for jobs. Your view on college degrees for data analyst. I'd say statistics would probably help you. At the end of the day, I have a chemistry degree, and after your first job, no one cares about your degree. At least in the U. I can't. So I cannot speak for all countries. My understanding is that like in a lot of Asian countries, the view on degrees is very different than it is in North America. But in the United States, no one cares about your degree after your first college. After your first job, they just care that you have a degree. And even that, like, honestly, is like dumb. I'm like, at the end of the day, if you have experience, I don't care if you have a degree or not. If you have a master's, it's a little bit different. So people care about master's degrees here. If after your first job, no one cares about your bachelor's degree, and after your first job, after having a master's degree, I'm not sure anyone cares either. You just kind of have to have it. So I would say statistics if you have to pick a degree, but I mean, I have a chemistry degree. So internet idiot, funny username. Okay, so how do I go about getting started learning Python? It's so overwhelming at the beginning. So go ahead and use this Python course that I linked in the chat. It is the best way to get started on Python, in my opinion. I designed it specifically for people who didn't know anything about Python. So meet Nagadia. Exploratory data analysis is just one part of the entire analytics framework. So exploratory data analysis is kind of what you do to figure out like what columns am I even going to look at? Is this the right data set? Stuff like that. So it's the beginning of the analytics process, but data analysis refers to the entire process. Cool. That's great to hear that you're learning that way, Alexi fan. Oh, okay. This might be easier for y'all to see the questions. Okay. NoSQL is used in data analytics. I personally have never used it, but it is used. I'm starting a career as a data analyst. Been working as a software engineer, but I love sports analytics. What kind of projects could help me get a job in sports analytics? Oh, dude, there's so much. There's so much sports data out there. So I think that there are a ton of projects that you could be working on. I'd say just go ahead and download some sports data and just start asking yourself some questions. And go ahead and just like ask, for example, who's the best running back in the NFL, and why do I think so, and like, why do I think that's the case, or like find some opinion, some popular opinion of your sport, and then just like see if you can disagree with it. I think that's a great way to do it. Okay. So Nelson, from a Swede to a data analyst, data scientist, I'm in interview stages of the process and was wondering what kind of technical questions I'll be asked by data. Okay, so if you are on my TikTok or on my YouTube, you'll see on my YouTube channel there I have a couple of YouTube shorts where I actually ask a lot of questions. Yeah, right here, my YouTube shorts, data science interview questions. You'll see I have a lot of questions over here, and those are the technical questions you might be asked. And if you go to my TikTok, so for anyone curious, and let's see, view profile. You'll see I have a lot of questions on SQL data analysts and data interview questions and stuff like that. So go ahead and follow this account on TikTok and you'll see a lot of content. And I know that for the Indian audiences, TikTok is banned in India. I try and put some of the stuff on shorts, and I'm trying to think of a better way to also like gear my like take this content and show it to the Indian audiences. But that being said, YouTube Shorts just doesn't work as well as TikTok does as far as like rapidly creating content. As you can see, it kind of like junks up my YouTube channel. So if I go to like videos over here, you'll just see like it creates a bunch of just like stuff on my YouTube channel that like doesn't look that great, and it really just like I'm not a big fan of the way it looks, honestly. And plus, you can only record 1 minute videos. You can't record 3 minute videos. So I will figure something out in relation to like how to get the Indian audiences access to TikTok. But for anyone that isn't already following, follow my TikTok, and I have a lot of stuff that I do on that as well, because TikTok allows you to iterate really quickly. And I answer a lot of questions on TikTok because people can like comment on your TikTok, and then you can just like respond with a video very quickly. So I can just like shoot the video no matter where I'm from. So I highly recommend that. I do also use Insta. Yes. Okay, let's see. So this is the wrong account. Oh, okay, I don't have my other account. So I would don't follow that account. That's my personal account. I mean, if you want to, go ahead and follow, but I don't post any data science stuff on that. Go ahead and follow my other Instagram account. And maybe that's where I do it. So my Instagram account isn't very popular, but maybe I might be able to do it over there. So go ahead and follow that too. Yeah. So I think that's, I want to make it a little bit neater and do it, but yes, that is definitely an idea I have in the works. Okay, so let's see what else we got question-wise. And I'm going to be logging off in about 10 minutes. Remember, if you have a question you really want to ask me, feel free to send me a super chat, and I'll go ahead and answer that question immediately. Okay, so funny question, Miguel. So I'm still not really doing the whole mentorship thing, but I don't know. Maybe I'll find a. This is kind of my way of doing it, just kind of doing it through here. What made you start making videos? Okay, that's actually a really good question, RCSX. So basically, after the coronavirus pandemic started, a lot of people really close to me I knew lost their jobs, and I kept my job. Like nothing changed about my job, nothing changed about my life. I just stayed at home more, and I felt really lucky to be in a position where my life was completely unaffected by COVID in a negative way, but I felt so bad for all of the people who were let go and all of the people who were in jobs that all of a sudden COVID made significantly harder to actually perform. And that's why I created this Tableau beginner course, because Tableau is how I got started in analytics. And it was it was kind of like my way of seeing like, okay, like I can like show people how to get into the world of analytics, because it's like one of those job types that like one pays very well, doesn't require as much work as against something like an investment banker or something does, and it doesn't matter how many pandemics there are, you're always going to need some kind of analyst somewhere. And even if you get fired from your analyst job, you can just go into Upwork and start working over there. It's a job that's very transferable. Like the skills are very transferable in that. So I wanted to like spread the knowledge of this career to more people, because COVID really hit a lot of people very, very hard, and I was basically unaffected by it. And I thought that, being one of those people that was unaffected by COVID, I have some responsibility to help out as I can. So that's what made me start making my videos. Hey, great to see you, Fitness Freak. Uh, okay, Marshall Turn. Okay, it's I have more knowledge than an entry level. So Marshall, do you have any experience? And I would also recommend, don't be afraid to take on a job to use as a springboard to a different job. So if you've ever seen software engineers and how often they're switching companies, it's because so many companies need software engineers, and it's kind of just the expectation, at least in the United States, that people are constantly switching companies. And so, oh hey, industrial engineering. My brother's an industrial engineer, and of course. And what I think you could do is you could take an entry level job, even if it doesn't pay that well, do it for 6 to 9 months, and then start applying immediately. And you will find a company that doesn't really care that you're switching jobs. Now, I think after about 5 years of experience, if you only have been at companies for a year or two, people will start to be like, okay, like if we're gonna hire someone with 5 years of experience, we're gonna pay him this much money. We definitely are expecting them to stay for a little bit longer, so we can't have someone that like keeps switching jobs every like 6 months. But I would say don't be afraid to just take a lower paying job that has like a good opportunity for you to get some experience. Just boost the experience on your resume, and then at your 6 or 7th month, just start applying like no one else's business, and use that to like kind of like boost your resume. Oh hey Calvin, great job. Yes, I do remember. Hey, you know what? Don't worry about it. It takes people I know sometimes 6 months to actually get like real work at the job they're in. So I definitely don't worry about like not getting work if you when you just started. Yes, that's 100% normal. It's very normal, and I don't really get it myself because I'm kind of like, oh, like if you hire someone, you have a very specific role you want them to fill up, but that's like also not how companies hire. They just hire when they. So what happens is, um, company like director. So at many companies, directors are usually kind of the they're the ones that have like money, like they have like control of like money and stuff like that. They need to submit a budget, and in that budget they need to like estimate, okay, how many people do we need to hire this year. And because of that, and getting extra budget is very, very difficult. It's not easy to get extra budget, and you want to make sure you use your entire budget. That way you don't get a lower budget next year, or that way next year people aren't like, oh, this guy just asks for a bunch of money, and then we're just like stuck doing nothing with this money that we could have done something else with. And so you'll find a lot of companies will actually hire people and not have anything for them to do immediately. And a lot of that just has to do with the fact that like they don't need you at that moment, but they need to spend the money on the budget. And they're like, okay, we're gonna need him in like 6 months. Let's just hire him right now, and it will, it's a company's money, it's not my money. And then we will use that time to train him and get him up to speed on actually doing what we need him to do. Freelance service, anything to do with your Python skills and your Tableau skills is very useful on a freelancing website like Upwork for sure. All right, so let me go ahead and go back to answering the questions in order. Completely lost as to where I am right now. Okay, let's see. Power BI versus Tableau, which one to learn first? Doesn't matter. If you know which one is more popular in your market, in your job market, learn that one first. So Luis from Mexico, do you recommend the Coursera Google Analytics data certification to get an advantage on learning? I don't think it's a bad idea. I think it's a good idea. So I would definitely recommend it. Yeah. So Stefan Campbell, you present really well. How do you handle presenting in your job? It's one area I really struggle with as an analyst. I'm good with numbers slash code slash system, but presenting is out of my comfort zone. I feel you over there. I think that the only thing you can do if like presenting really it gives you if presenting is really difficult for you is to present to yourself. So like when I say present to yourself, I mean like present like in your home or something, like just start talking out loud and presenting, and just like think about what questions might come up and what information someone might want to know. I think a talent I have is understanding what questions people might ask as I'm presenting, and I think for me that talent just kind of comes naturally. But I don't know how you would like develop that, but I think if you, and that's kind of like why my advice is like kind of just like say it out loud, and like the questions kind of become obvious sometimes, because sometimes I'll like realize the questions as I'm talking. So maybe try just like presenting out loud to yourself, and maybe the questions will come to you automatically when you do that. So go ahead and try that, and let's see what comes up. Yeah. I mean, don't worry too much about it, Calvin. That's a lot of jobs start off like that, so I wouldn't worry too much about it. Oh wow, we have a lot of questions. So I will take. Oh yes, yes, I will do that. That is a good point. What is MBB? Everyone keeps mentioning this. I'm not sure what that is. I'm trying to see if I can get one last question because I have to head out now. Um, Storytelling with Data. Highly recommend that book. I actually have it linked in a lot of my videos. It is an Amazon affiliate link, so I do get a small commission off of it, but it shouldn't change the price of the price you pay for the book at all. Oh, because I didn't link it here. I link it somewhere. Yeah, Storytelling with Data. There we go. So this is a book I cannot recommend enough. Definitely changed my perspective on data. Oh, whoops. There we go. Uh, Data frames in your blog. Can you just embed and can you take a data frame and then go to so you should be able to take a data frame and then copy it into a tool like this, a tables generator, and it will create a markdown table. And you should be able to put markdown into HTML directly, and it should be able to present your table. So try that. So I do apologize. I don't understand Hindi or German. Google Data Analytics course is really good. The only thing I would say is that it uses R instead of Python. Of course, both languages are awesome. I personally recommend Python though, but that's the only thing I would say. It uses R instead of Python. Well, thank you so much, Ardar. Great to hear that. Great to hear that. Do interns get support and mentorship as if they're employees in order for them to grow and hopefully get a full-time offer? Funny thing is, I actually find that interns are treated better than employees. When I was an intern, I was treated better than when I was an employee because they're trying to convince you to work at the company. Not that they treat me badly as an employee, just that like they took us like all these events and everything, and they like try to have like fun. And also, funny story, as an intern, I was treated better than as an employee. Um, because as an intern there aren't necessarily expectations that you'll like bring tons of value to the company, and they kind of just want to convince you to like work with the company. Dar es Salaam, awesome, great job. Tanzania, what do you do when you feel overwhelmed? Great question. I quit and I play video games. If I feel over, I will quit and I will play video games, even if it's just like 30 minutes, or I'll watch a YouTube video, even just if it's just like 5 minutes. And if I have to get back to work, I will get back to work. Otherwise, a tremendous skill that I think is just good for anyone that wants to be successful in life and not like go insane in the process is learning how to manage other people's expectations of you. And once you get into the workforce, it's a really big skill you need to have, where you have to manage other people's expectations of you, and you have to make sure that um, they are not always just telling you like when everything needs to be due, because you're the one that's actually producing the work. So you say like, okay, like I have all this other stuff, another great way is like when someone says, oh, I need you to do this task, and what I sometimes will say is like, okay, especially if it's a director, right? I'll be like, okay, I have this other thing I need to be doing. Would you mind talking to that manager and getting this off my plate? Then I can go ahead and do your task. And basically, the great thing is that like it's oftentimes people will kind of just like give you work without necessarily like needing it. And what this does is this puts some onus responsibility on them, while at the same time making sure all of your work is managed. And then if the director really thinks it's that important, they will go to the manager and say, hey, I need this person to do this thing, and reassign you to that work. So I would say definitely don't be afraid to tell managers that like they need to like you have a limited amount of time and they need to free up your time if they want you to do more work. So I would say never be afraid to tell a manager that. Obviously, the way you word it is key. You could word it very rudely and they'll hate you forever. But if you word it in a nice way, then it's just common sense. You know, you have a finite amount of time. There's only so much work you can do. And I think part of the reason people get burned out, one is just ridiculous corporate cultures, but two is also I think people don't manage expectations as well as they could. They kind of just do whatever is given to them. And this is very much something that I did. All right. Who is the best data analyst content creator? I don't actually know. I think that they all offer different value props. I know that the one that I first started watching was Kenji for sure. And I think in the space, he probably has the most experience. McKinsey, BCG. Oh, okay. Isn't there a big four there? There's McKinsey, BCG, Bain, and am I missing one? Oh yeah, no, I guess it's just those four. Oh, okay. So MBB. Okay, cool. Well, I definitely learned something today. Yeah, no, those are amazing companies. Have you created a Telegram bot for a daily report? No, but I've created a Slack bot. Uh, Thank you so much, Marshall. All right, guys. So I am actually over time. I have a meeting I have to attend right now. Thank you guys so much for joining. I thank you guys so much for joining. I have a T-SQL's amazing. I love it. Well, thank you so much, Ifrit. I will be doing these every Thursday. If you have any questions, I guess, yeah, leave a comment on this video. If you haven't already liked this video, please like this video. It tells YouTube that these are like worth watching and shows this to more and more people.